Hi, so Black Girl Affirmed is adding a new video feature to the blog in which we will dive deeper into topics that I myself are not fully knowledgeable on or equipped to speak about, but it still warrants a deeper conversation. So I solicited the help of Michelle Ezell. She is a therapist out of Fort Worth, Texas, and she's here to give us some practical, tangible knowledge on how we can navigate life's challenges and keep ourselves and our mental health and our emotional health strong so that we're fully realized and affirmed people as we move forward through life. So stay tuned. This first episode is going to be about stress, anxiety, and the coronavirus. So stay tuned. I wanted us to talk today specifically about stress, anxiety, and the coronavirus.
Yes.
COVID-19 has, or it rather is still a major disruptor in our lives. And the rapid spread and the change, it all happened so quickly that in my mind, I'm thinking it's nearly impossible to come out on the other side of this without some form of trauma or anxiety. As states are planning to open back up businesses, how can we manage our anxiety about reacclimating ourselves back into society?
Definitely. Well, I think just really creating some type of norm or routine is going to be quite intimidating for a lot of individuals. A lot of us are anxious about the lack of control that we have had during this time. And so I think it's really important to focus on the things that we can influence, that we can control. Um, Even just extending yourself more grace. Um, if you've worked with a therapist in the past, maybe calling into some of those coping mechanisms that you have used, um, positioning yourself to glean more from your support system. I think one of the beautiful things, if I can even deem it that way, from this whole pandemic is just us really getting back to the heart of things, family, true support systems, kind of eliminating a lot of the fluff, when it comes to things that have not been as important, but we have made a priority as a culture, as a society. So actively engaging your support system and kind of leaning into those spaces that give you levity, that give you delight, that give you joy. I think that can kind of add some balance to a lot of the uncertainty that has been happening. Um, because of course with a lot of people returning to their regular workspaces or trying to re-merge themselves into a routine, whether it be church, whether it be shopping, whether it be sports or daycare, whatever the case is, just being gentle with yourself, I feel like is probably one important thing, one foundational thing that will help everything else kind of feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about being gentle with ourselves. And I know for me personally, I am having trouble venturing outside of my front door. Like, I don't want to
Absolutely.
do it. Like, I'm
Hmm.
telling everybody, see you 2021, you know?
Not 2021.
2021, I'm packing it in for the rest of the year, but I know that's not sustainable. What I'm trying to really navigate is how my behavior or attitude is going to change once things are deemed safe or there is a vaccine. Like, will I still be doing these habits of like wiping down my groceries, or am I still going to be very anxious about being in large crowds? I wanted to ask you, do you think it's a reach for people to experience PTSD from this, even if you did not experience a loss or was diagnosed with the coronavirus itself?
One thing, Brittany, you mentioned is just um, returning to some form of normalcy. Honestly, I really feel like COVID-19 is going to impact the way we move forward with a lot of things. A lot of us will be more hyper vigilant. A lot of us will take a lot more caution in interactions and hygiene, which eventually, depending on how you allow it to impact you, could develop into post traumatic symptoms. So, the thing about post traumatic stress is it's not it's not something that you actually have to be diagnosed with to still exhibit some of the symptoms.
Mm.
Um, it could cause individuals to exhibit effects similar to persons that have been formally diagnosed with PTSD, and it's possible to have a strong emotional reaction to the trauma that has kind of affected a lot of us, but at different ways. It really depends on how you interpret it personally. It's not necessarily what's happening, but the way you interpret it and what that means for you. I mean, a lot of people have lost loved ones. People have been financially impacted if it has affected their workplace. Frontline workers are under extreme pressures. So I think it really is something that could manifest. And of course, when you think about the DSM 5, you can exhibit features of something, but it not actually be that particular disorder unless it meets a frequency or duration. That's when it takes it from it being, oh, this is a stressful day for me, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling like I just can't function at my highest capacity. But when it really impacts you being able to operate at work or parenting or different things like that, I think that's really one of the major differences.
People are varied in their responses to what's going on. Some
Hmm.
people are like, this is nothing. I'm still out here living my life. I'm still going to the bar. I'm still, messing around. Let me not say messing around. Some people are still,
That's what's happening.
some
I know a
people
lot of
are,
people that have acquired quarantine base during this whole season.
and to me, that is just absolutely crazy. And I'm looking at people with much side eyes lately.
Yeah,
And on top of like giving myself grace, because people are reacting like on polar opposites of this thing, I'm having a hard time connecting with people who are on this end of like, I'm still out here living my life.
I think everybody is genuine. Well, I can't say that. A lot of us are genuinely doing the best we can during this time. But for people that feel like it's just a conspiracy or really don't take the virus to be authentic, to be real. Personally, I think all we can control is what we can control.
Mm,
So that also means making peace with the fact that you may have to be a little more extreme in your measures to protect yourself, to ensure that your own immunity is where it should be. If you need to kind of isolate yourself from persons that are going back out into the cities and doing whatever the case is, because you don't know what
yeah.
they've been exposed to, you don't know who it is that they're interacting with. And because of just the liberty that people have with doing what they want to do and doing what they're allowed to do, there's not much you can do about it. So I think maybe even reframing your mindset to just figuring out what you can do for you and yours and ensuring how you can do that to the best of your ability might grant you some sense of peace or comfort. Because looking on social media and seeing what everybody's doing and then kind of subconsciously judging and all of that, that's only going to turn into something else.
Mm.
So and you can't do anything about that.
What mindset should we all be in moving forward in when facing the uncertainty of the virus? Because we still don't have a vaccine. That's going to be a while. Um, but yet we still have to keep on pushing forward. So what mindset should I be in, and we should try to adopt during these times?
Definitely. I believe a growth mindset. It's important to take this dangerous virus very seriously, but it's also equally important to maintain an optimistic attitude in order to survive this pandemic. You could begin your morning with positive expectations that generally will shape the direction of the remainder of your day. Being positive with how you think, being positive about what you'll be able to manifest, what you can control, what you can still do, how you affirm yourself. believing that everyone means well. And that kind of even goes back to the last question that you asked, because some people aren't taking it seriously, and it almost makes you wonder if they care about everyone else's well-being as much as you do. But
Yeah.
trying to defer to optimism, I think, will help your own mindset, especially during those times where you feel like something is more threatening. um, Perpetuating negativity, I have learned, only breeds more gloom. Okay, so reminding yourself that everyone is trying to do your best given the circumstances, eliminating negative people from around you, that's definitely something you can control and can help your mindset, and expressing gratitude. You
Mm.
know, there are a lot of bad things happening in the world, but there's still a lot of good that's occurring as well. Babies are still being born, people are still pursuing careers, people are still being hired. Um, I have really loved to see just how innovative and resilient, like the class of 2020 has been, with just
Mhm.
drive-bys and adopting a senior and making sure, like, I feel like I probably have sent out more graduation cards and budgeted more money for former students and people that I know whose kids have graduated at church, just because I'm realizing that their experience is not the typical or traditional one. And
Yeah.
so I think some people have used that as an opportunity to figure out where they can step in and help be a catalyst for positivity or change, or just how to inspire also. So I think really just having a positive mindset, a growth mindset, choosing to think yes when you really want to think in a more discouraged way, will probably help everybody be um, a little more fulfilled and at comfort during such a time.
Thank you, Michelle. All those answers were really helpful, and I hope
Yeah.
you guys have found her advice to be practical and something that we can use moving forward. Because, as you know, I just said, and Michelle as well, things are uncertain, but it's important that we keep our mental health in check and our emotional health in check. And that will help us to navigate this time, because it's only for a season.
Mhm.
We don't know how long the season will be, but we still need to make sure that we're good in the midst of this season. So thank you
Absolutely.
again, Michelle. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was a joy. I really enjoyed the whole discussion. I hope you have me on again.
For sure. We're going to make this a regular thing. So you
Nice.
guys tune in. Thank you for joining, and you all stay affirmed in power and love and truth.
Nice. Bye. Peace.
Bye.